Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Tuesday, May the 13th, 2025, and another great episode last night of Talking Boxing. Really good. We had good numbers again last night, so thank you to everyone that tunes in on the night and listens afterwards on Spotify. It's very much appreciated, and as always, I really enjoy the banter and the discussing of different topics. Last night actually was started off a lot to do with a bit of a polarising figure in Harry Garside. It was a press conference yesterday for tomorrow night's fight, so I'll get into that in a second. But there's only a couple of things today of note, which is surprising on this day of May 13th. Back in 2000, one of the greatest fighters of all time, Roy Jones Jr., defended his light heavyweight title with a TKO over Richard Hall. Now, what round was it? Isn't that funny? It doesn't actually say. No, it doesn't say. There you go. But he stopped him in Indianapolis in 2000 on this day. Another, just a quick one of just a little historical note. Manny Pacquiao was officially proclaimed Congressman of the Lone District of Sarangani in the Philippines. And of course, Manny Pacquiao looking to get back into the ring on July 19th on the Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora card. Interesting that a month before he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So again, I don't know how that works. He's supposed to be retired for 5 years. I wonder how the Hall of Fame sort of react to this. Well, hang on, we've got this guy booked in to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's just announced a fight on us. What are we going to do? Manny Pacquiao, I'm sure they'll bend the rules, but I don't think there'd be, I think there would be a few people that are not really impressed by the fact that he's going to have a fight a month after his induction. But anyway, the press conference yesterday. Now, this is for the event tomorrow night, and of course Sam Goodman, Cesar Vaca, and Harry Garside, Charlie Bell, and a few of the undercard fighters on there as well. And I suppose it was just the normal sort of press conference, everyone trying their best to talk it up and give some significance to the fight. Look, I thought George was a little more subdued yesterday. Normally he gets pretty excited and really ramps it up. Even he was sort of struggling to really get some energy into the event, wasn't he? But they had the main card fighters on there, on the tables, and I suppose the more entertaining part of it was with Harry Garside and his little nemesis Ahmed Reda, who's fast sort of making his name as again another polarising figure in Aussie boxing. But look, I thought one thing that surprised me, first of all, and I know I sort of went on about it a little bit yesterday, and I was on D-Style show yesterday, which was good, talking a little bit about it as well, but with Jazzy Parr. Now, Jazzy Parr was on the table. She was at the press conference. They only had a certain amount of fighters there, mainly the main card. But Jazzy Parr was there. Now, she's actually on the prelim card, the third fight of about 6 on that pre-undercard or pre-televised undercard, or whatever it is, against a young Thai girl. Now, so the fact that she's on the table would suggest that, she's a no-limit fighter, and they're looking to get behind her and invest in her and give her some exposure. The problem is they put her in with a Thai girl who's 9-9 and been knocked out 5 times. And in the same breath, or the same time, have left off that table Monir Fathi and Wade Ryan, which is a really good fight and probably is worthy to be on that main table. So they've got rid of a really good fight on the main card to make room for Jazzy Parr, who, in my opinion, they can't sort of seem too enthused about it if they've gone with a Thai to fight on this card and put her on there and interviewed her. So I don't know. I mean, I'll continue to be pretty vocal about this as far as why didn't she just fight Shannon O'Connell when her original opponent pulled out, or better yet, why didn't she actually sign on to fight Shannon in the first place? she did even comment on it yesterday. She was asked about it. She didn't mention Shannon by name, but she said that we all, something about not leaving it to the judges this time or something like that anyway. But look, I don't know. It's one thing to keep, I suppose, sniping about the result. Just get in there and settle it. This is, you've got the opportunity. You've got Shannon that's just waiting there, itching to have get another fight and have another crack at you, and you're still whinging about the decision. Well, you've had a perfect opportunity to get in there and fight her, and for whatever reason, whether that's Jazzy Parr herself or her promoters, No Limit, have said no, we don't want any more of that action. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. And the fact that they rolled sort of Jazzy Parr out yesterday and put her on that main table and made a bit of an effort to really get some attention on her while matching her with this type of opponent, it just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, what does these days in boxing? But was it Patrick Vella, the cool dude in the sunglasses, and he had the earphones in, and I don't know what sort of image he was trying to portray. There was a little bit of a mixture of an Australian accent with an American accent as well. He mixed it up a little bit. Was asked to be referred to as the Golden Boy. So I'm not quite sure what he's going for there. Now, is he trying to maybe get people talking about it, which I suppose we are. I'm doing it right now, and get a little bit of a persona going as far as being a bad dude on the Australian scene. And now he's fighting Charlie Kazzy. I think he's got enough to worry about against Charlie Kazzy than his image, but he had a well, he didn't really have a lot to say, but what he did say was like, it was intriguing. If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. It's on there. So, hey, I hope he fights as good as he talks anyway, Patrick Vella. But as I said, he's going to have his hands full against Charlie Kazzy, who's a good little fighter. The heavyweights, Stephen Ivic didn't really have a lot to say. I think he felt a little bit uncomfortable. That's probably his first time up on something like that, but he spoke really well. His opponent, Vasuatu, Tawisi Vasuatu, I think that's how you pronounce it. Pretty laid back as well. They didn't really have much to say. But then, of course, we went to Ahmed Reda and Harry Garside. And Ahmed Reda, he still got at least he had the hair pulled back, I think, today. Did he have it in a ponytail or something? It looked a little better. But I think his parents should have get in his ear and say, Ahmed, you're going to have to cut that hair off, bro. But look, for him, it was just a fascination about Harry Garside. Harry Garside, I think, spoke really well. Regardless of what people think of him, he's an out there sort of guy, isn't he, with his painted fingernails and his dresses and all that sort of stuff and his views on life. But hey, it's a free country, free world, he can do what he wants. But I thought at one stage you could just see that Harry was just itching to say, mate, will you just shut up? Okay, I'm not fighting you. You're a nobody. I don't want any part of you at the moment. Just shut up. And that's the impression I got from Harry Garside with the way he was looking at Ahmed Reda. And look, I think what Ahmed Reda needs to understand, and the big thing afterwards was that they threw $100,000. This is the team, I think, of Ahmed Reda. They threw $100,000 at Harry Garside to switch opponents. So he's supposed to fight Charlie Bell. They want Ahmed Reda's opponent to fight Charlie Bell, and Reda and Harry Garside can fight. Now, what he just needs to understand is that the fight means absolutely nothing at this stage. And it's okay, he had 4 fights or whatever it is, I know, 3 or 4 fights. It's okay to want to have a crack at Harry Garside. And he actually did, as far as, and it backfired on him big time, by the way, because he said, what are you doing up there on the, because there was 2 sort of levels of the tables, and Harry's on the main sort of level. What have you done? What have you ever done? He said, well, I've beaten fighters with winning records. He said, what have you done? And Ahmed Reda, you could sort of see, he sort of stopped and thought about it, went, oh shit, maybe I've sort of dug myself into a bit of a hole here, because he said, well, who have you fought with a winning record? And you could see Ahmed Reda just backtracking 100 miles an hour in his mind, because I checked out his record and he hasn't fought anyone with a winning record. So sometimes you just got to pick your battles. You've just got to pick your marks. And I thought Harry came back really well. And look, okay, Harry Garside's had 3 fights. I get it. Might not deserve all the attention and the shows, the things, the segments on 60 Minutes and all that sort of stuff. I understand that, but look, he's just making the most of the attention that he's getting at the moment. And he did say that, look, he didn't have to do this. He's got plenty of other options, but he wants to do this, so good on him. I've had my own different opinions of Harry over the time, but look, end of the day, he's a good fighter, and I don't think he sort of deserves a lot of the ridicule that he's getting, because looks like and I've met him a few times, but he's a humble type of guy, but he definitely put Redder in his place. But the thing is, what Ahmed Redder also has to understand, say he did get the fight and he beat Harry Garside. Okay, that's good for his ego. He's $100,000 lighter. What does it achieve? It achieves nothing. Zero. It doesn't get him a ranking. It doesn't get him any real plaudits. All it would mean is Harry Garside would still be a media darling. It wouldn't matter. They're not really interested in his boxing record and what he achieves. It's more the story of Harry Garside they're after. He wouldn't get any attention because of it. As I said, he wouldn't get a ranking in Australia, probably Australia, because there's not that many around in that weight, but he wouldn't really get much. There's no belts on the line, there's no world rankings, there's no contract signings with Riyadh season. Nothing happens. So he's given up $100,000 for nothing. So why not let the fight, if it is going to be a big fight like they want it to be, why not just let it marinate? If you've got a good businessman in your ear, which obviously he hasn't, you would say to him, hey, mate, just relax. Let's get up to 10, 11, 12 fights. Let Harry do the same, or it might be a couple of years away, 18 months away maybe. And then we'll do it. We'll do it, at the end of 2026. Let's get another 7 or 8 fights under our belt, get some experience, let this sort of marinate, as they say, and then we'll do it on a big no-limit card. Or worst case, at least a year. You could have probably 4 fights in that time. He'd be up to 7 or 8 fights, and even though it still wouldn't be a big fight, it's a lot bigger than what it'd be after 3 fights each or whatever it is. It's ridiculous. So I thought it was a little bit cringe, if I'm being honest, from Ahmed Redder yesterday, and to interrupt Harry consistently while he was talking. Yeah, a little bit of bad taste. But anyway, I think he just needs someone in his ear just to pull him back a little bit and explain the business of boxing. This is not the amateurs here, where you roll out a challenge and you just fight and whatever. No, there's implications in the pros. And as I said, even if he got the fight with Harry Garside and beat him, he's literally progresses 0. The Australian public still won't really know who he is. The media won't give a toss about him. And as I said, it won't give him a ranking or any cred in world boxing. So why not wait until it does mean something? Anyway. On to the main event, though. I thought Sam Goodman looked a little bit testy, didn't he? You can tell he's sick of the inner weight questions. He's sick of probably the build-up, making weight, all that sort of stuff. He's been out of the ring for about a year now, so you can tell he's sort of raring to go. Jorge, I was going to call him Jorge Vaca, the former welterweight champion, Cesar Vaca. Didn't look as big as I thought he would look. The vision I've seen of him on YouTube, he actually looked a little bit like a lot taller than what he is. Sam Goodman actually, I thought, looked taller than him. There is word that he's struggling with the weight, and I think Sam Goodman and his team gave him, I think he said they gave him a couple of pounds when they went into the fight. When they signed the fight, he's asked for another pound, and I think they've said no. And if he does, well, it's going to cost them. So we'll see what happens there. The weigh-in is today. Look, I'm still thinking this is going to be an easy night's work for Sam as far as the scorecards goes, but when it comes to Mexican fighters, as we know, it's never easy. They always come to fight. You're never in an easy fight with a Mexican. So look, I think it'll be a good, tough fight for Sam. Really, probably a really good choice for him after 12 months out of the ring. So look, I am getting the card, by the way. So if you've got nothing better to do and you don't want to buy it yourself, I am doing a live watch along. So if you want to tune in and watch me watch the fights and engage in it, that's fine. I'll be on at about 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and we'll see what we can come up with. I've got no doubt there'll be a few surprises on the card. There'll be some good fights, maybe some that surprise us. I think there's 5 fights in total, so we will hopefully have a good night of fights. On to some other news. The Navarrete and Suarez fight. Now, it looks like it's going to be a no contest. Suarez has officially lodged his protest or appeal on the decision loss. So I think the odds are, from what I can gather, it's going to be a no contest. I think they're going to hear the case June 2nd, I think it was, where it will be made official. But I wouldn't be surprised. Now they've had a really good chance to view the video footage. I think they'll rule it a no contest, because when you look at it, if it goes for a punch, if they overturn it and say no, it was definitely a punch that caused it, well, that means Suarez should be the victor. So what I think he's hoping for is either gets declared a victor, or the victor, or it's a no contest. Either way, he won't have the loss on his record, which I think is a good call. I don't think he deserves a loss out of that. I mean, it was either an accidental head clash or a punch. I'm a little bit in between. I can see the punch landing squarely on that eye, but on the other hand, I can sort of see them skim heads as well. So I did actually talk about it yesterday with D-Style and his channel, and we both sort of agreed, was it a tactical thing by Navarrete to have the fight stopped? Maybe he was feeling the pace at that stage. He'd had a pretty hard weight cut, apparently. We're into the 8th round, or this side of the 8th round. And the way, like, the cut was nowhere near as bad as Tim Tszyu's cut, but it was stopped. That was probably the first thing. But even though the cut and the blood was running down the side of his face and sort of around his eye, it was rubbing the blood like it was in his eye and smearing it all over his face. Do you think that maybe he was struggling just a little bit, maybe thought he was in front and thought, oh, well, and I think especially because the doctor had said that it's a head clash, so he knew it was going to go to the scorecards. Do you think that maybe he knew that he was, or thought that he was in front, and thought, now's my time just to maybe accentuate the blood, and we go to the scorecards and he wins a decision? I'm not sure, but he's a very experienced fighter, is Navarrete, been around a while. So was it an actual tactical ploy to get the doctor to stop the fight? I don't know, but it's always interesting times. Morning. All right, the other thing that happened overnight too, the WBC have released a statement on the Manny Pacquiao and Barrios fight. They've copped a lot of flack about that fight, but Mauricio Sulaiman did actually say, it sort of made me laugh a bit. He said, you guys, you know, it's, well, first of all, he did clarify the reason he got a title shot after 4 years out of the ring is because of a what would you call it, a condition, or just trying to think of the right word. It's a legendary status clause, I think is the word I'm looking for. A clause in the Constitution that says a legend, they can pretty much bypass all the usual ranking systems, and if the WBC chooses, they can be sanctioned for a title fight, which has happened in this case. Being a legend, they've allowed him to fight. But he did sort of push back as far as a ridicule, as far as the health of Manny Pacquiao and whether he's going to be okay in the fight, and just people's concerns about his welfare. But he did say, well, you didn't say that, you know, when, let me just go back to Sugar Ray Leonard when he fought Marvin Hagler, and everyone was sort of going on about it then, and we saw what happened in that fight, blah, 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 blah. The big difference is, though, that Sugar Ray Leonard was 30 years old, Manny Pacquiao was 46. And Sugar Ray Leonard, yeah, he'd been out of the ring for 3 years, but again, was 30 years old. Pacquiao been out for 4 years, and he is 46. And I said it last night. If this is if you're comparing the two, Manny Pacquiao at 30 years of age was fighting the likes and smashing the likes of Oscar De La Hoya and Ricky Hatton and Miguel Cotto and all these types of guys. Manny, that's the age he was, at the same age as what Leonard was when he fought Hagler. So a little bit different, I don't think there'll be any dramas, mentally wise, with his head, like the injuries. I just think his body is cooked, and he looks so slow and lethargic against Ugas 4 years ago. I'm not sure how he can suddenly come back and fight Barrios and put up a good showing, but we'll see. A couple other things. Jake Paul has signed a couple of the other big female boxers in the world, Chantel Cameron and Savannah Marshall. And I've got to say, for all his faults, he's actually doing a lot for women's boxing. I think it's good that he's doing that with his MVP promotions, or whatever it's called. And again, all his faults and everything, and the circus that he's made boxing. One thing you've got to sort of take your hat off to him is what he's doing for female boxing. And now I think I was under the impression Chantel Cameron was actually with she was with Eddie. Who did she? I thought she went with actually Frank Warren, and now she's gone with Jake Paul. But anyway, and Savannah Marshall's been out for quite some time. But yeah, pat on the back to Jake Paul, who's getting behind a lot of these real good female fighters, elite female fighters, and giving them some opportunities on some big cards. So yeah, congratulations on that. And one last thing, Floyd Mayweather has actually this week come out and had to defend himself that he's actually broke. Now, I think I spoke about this, a couple of weeks ago about this, and I'll just get past this friggin' dog here. I forgot that he's here. Come on, buddy, let's go. Yes, okay, yes. Jaw turf. We'll keep moving. Come on, let's go. Bloody dogs, territorial. But yeah, like, I don't know, they reckon he's earned up to $1 billion during his career, continues to make a lot of money, lives a lavish lifestyle. Mayweather's come back and said, well, okay, well, I've got 2 jets and about 100 properties and this and that. But Stephen A. Smith, the mouthpiece on ESPN over there, has stood by his claim that he says it's all just a charade and he's bankrupt. And there's even talk that Mayweather might actually get legal with him as far as slander and all this sort of stuff goes. And in America, of course, you can sue anyone for anything over there. But geez, you would hope it's not the case. And even with Manny Pacquiao as well coming back, there are rumours it's because of money. Geez, I know he's been very charitable with his money, Manny Pacquiao, but he's probably earned $200 or $300 million over, or probably not that much, probably a couple of $100 million. So if that is the case, that is just staggering, especially with Floyd Mayweather. I doubt it, because I doubt he'd be able to even spend the interest of all that money that he's got, and with all his properties and all that sort of stuff. But it is intriguing, but this is the second or third time it's actually been brought up about his financial status. So I really hope it's not the case, regardless of what you think of Floyd. Geez, you would never, well, unless it's self-inflicted, I suppose, anyway. But we'll see what happens with that one. But guys, that's going to do it for today. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and we will catch you tomorrow.